Good morning. I'm glad so many of you managed this daylight savings time thing. I was surprised. I'm sure there'll be people walking in at 12 o'clock, but that's their problem. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Gainesville. I am Sue Boone, Worship Associate for today. I'm assisted by Katie Grace this morning. She's in training, so be nice to her. I want to welcome all of you on Zoom, those at our sibling church in Valdosta, and those who are at home here in Florida or afar. Thank you for choosing to worship with us today. And for those of you here, I'm glad that we're together in community. We are privileged to be on this lovely property, which was once the home of the Timucua and Seminole tribes. I noticed there were oranges by the bin where you put your dirty dishes. Are those local? Are those from our property? Oh, the angel who brought them isn't even here today. Are they David's? Yeah. Okay. Either they're from David's property or our property. I don't know which. Okay. This morning, I want to share something that has happened in the 2.5 years that I have been here. Last year, I was at a lunch with the Book Circle ladies. I was sitting next to Norden Luck. In conversation, I had never met her before. In conversation, we realized that we both graduated from the Graduate School of Social Work at the University of Texas at Arlington. She attended from 1979 to 81, and I attended from 1980 to 1983. Weird. Okay, and then 2 weeks ago, I was talking to Jim Benedict, and we realized we both graduated from Central Michigan University. Go Chippewas! I attended from 1963 to 1967. He attended from 1964 to 1969. What are the odds that, that was weird. So I just wanted to share that. If you are a visitor, please feel free to stop by our welcome table in the social hall with the green tablecloth. Do this during coffee hour. Our welcome team would love to tell you more about Unitarian Universalism and our congregation. Next Sunday, come join the Sacred Oak Cups Ostara, tuning into spring. It's going to be like a mini festival from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. There will be 4 hours of special activities as we move toward the spring equinox. If you want more details, look in the Gazette. There's a whole page with a poster on it. There are many elements in the service today, so we will probably go long. Take care of yourselves as necessary. Not probably, we will go long. That's all there is to it. Okay. Please be in an attitude of reverence. Katie, would you light the chalice for us this morning? The chalice lighting words are written by Reverend Lindsay Bates. To face the world's shadows, a chalice of light. To face the world's coldness, a chalice of warmth. To face the world's terrors, a chalice of courage. To face the world's turmoil, a chalice of peace. May its glow fill our spirits, our hearts, and our lives.
Good morning, my name is Katie Grace. I am a white woman of small stature with dark brown curly hair, wearing a teal shirt and a black patterned skirt. And my pronouns are she, her. Our opening words today are by Reverend Arlen Goff. Thresholds. We cross them every day, from room to room, from outside to inside, and back again, from here to there, from anywhere to everywhere. From age to age, each threshold offers an opportunity for change, for renewal, for transformation, from what we were and what we are to what we can be. In this hour and in this place, we cross a threshold from our day-to-day everydayness into space and time attuned to the other, to the sacred, to the holy, into an awareness of new life, pregnant with possibilities. How will we be renewed in this moment? How will we be changed by this hour? How will we be transformed through this gathering of beloved community? Come, you longing, thirsty souls. Come, let us worship together.
Our hymn this morning is When I Am Frightened. It's written by Shelley Jackson Denham, who's a Florida troubadour. Unfortunately, she passed at an early age. Let us rise in body or spirit and sing together hymn number 1012 in the teal hymnal, When I Am Frightened. It's in 1012 and on the screen. I so wanted to sing that song with y'all that I forgot the book on the table. Can someone get it for me, please? It's one of my favorites, can you tell? Ours is a welcoming community where we find connection, a spiritual community where we find meaning. Ours is a sharing community where our joys are amplified, a caring community where our sorrows are lessened. We take this moment to reflect on our joys and sorrows and acknowledge the mutual support of our community. To share your joys and sorrows with the community, the Joys and Sorrows book is located on the table in the back of the sanctuary. Feel free to make an entry. Our first joy are our visitors. Marnie, Holly Small, oh no, Anne Lenault, help, Leno, and Cindy Leno. Glad to have you all here with us today. Okay, let me read what has been written in the book. It is with belated joy that I share that I legally added my chosen name, Destin, as my second middle name on December 10th. It is a name that I have used for many years with my friends and reflects where I grew up and my forward-looking perspective at this point in my life. It is the name that I would like to use in this space. That being said, it is okay to call me by my birth name, Ryan. I'm glad he recognizes that some of us don't change really fast. Both names are equally special to me. Destin, Ryan, oh, I don't know. Rushing? Okay, that was Destin Ryan Rushing, over there in that teal shirt. Okay, Star writes, I struggle with my identity as a trans woman in today's political climate. The recently passed Kansas bill, which invalidated the ID documentation of trans persons therein. It feels like the beginning of the transition from stage 6 to stage 7 in the 10 stages of genocide as outlined by Genocide Watch. It is particularly upsetting as many countries are unwilling to grant refugee status to trans people from the United States due to fear of retaliation from the White House. And Jim Benedict interjects a funny reading for us. Last Sunday, I left my yellow-handled spoon here, Thursday at choir practice. I found it today.
Well, I left it last Sunday.
Okay.
I found it Thursday.
Oh, okay. He left his spoon. He found it, washed, and put away in the silverware drawer in the kitchen. Many thanks to whoever rescued my spoon. I was on dishwashing duty last Sunday, so you're welcome. Jane has a special t-shirt she wore today. It reads, I literally want my tax dollars to support national parks, science, education, conservation, mental health, and helping marginalized people, in case that wasn't clear. Bill Selden. Pardon? Seiden? Okay. I am thankful for the gift of life. I received 6 years ago this week on March 11th, 2020. Okay, let me start that again. I am thankful for the gift of life that I received 6 years ago this week on March 11th, 2020. I had a double lung transplant 2 days after being placed on the wait list. Wow, yeah, that was pretty amazing. I will forever be grateful to the donor, their family, all the wonderful staff at UF Shands, my family, my friends, and all the other people who have made it possible for me to be here today. We're glad that you are here. Someone from the Sacred Oaks Cups group wrote, "A joy. After many years, we now have the benches erected at the fire circle. We hope that everyone gets to enjoy them soon." Okay, Kirsten has a concern. Today, right after service, the entire stage will be cleared of furniture for this week's wood floor refinishing. We need 4 strong people to stay and help us move the risers, podiums, and everything, except the piano. They're hiring folks to move the piano. If you can help us, please touch base with Kirsten immediately after the service today. An anonymous person wrote, "Joy, I finally got a job. I am so relieved." Tell us who. If you don't want to share your feelings publicly, you may come forward and release a stone in the water in silence for the unspoken joys and sorrows you hold in your heart. After all have dropped their stones, Elizabeth from the care committee? Oh, Marilyn will, a member of the care team, will drop stones for all those watching online. Please come forward.
Good morning. My name is James Chase. I am the Director of Lifespan Faith Development here at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Gainesville. I'd like to invite our kids to come forward and sit down to read a book today, which is a really fun book. And while they come forward, I'm going to tell a little bit more about myself. I'm a white, medium-sized person with short brown hair, and I am non-binary, and I use the pronouns they, them. And I am wearing a kind of salmon-colored vest and a navy or black t-shirt and blue jeans. And I wore a bright color today to remind myself, to remind all of you, if you didn't see the slide, that next week we are celebrating Holy. After service, there's going to be all kinds of fun things happening. There's going to be cups activities, but there's also going to be really bright, beautiful colors to celebrate spring out in the play yard. And all ages are welcome to join us. Come throw bagfuls of color powder at each other. Traditionally, you wear white, and this is something we've done for several years now. It is so much fun. I love to bring my camera and take pictures of everybody having fun. So everyone is invited. That's 1 week from today on March 15th after service. And now for our story. Our story today is called The Sandwich Swap. And it is written by a queen. This book was written by Queen Rania al-Abdullah. And this book is a really, really about finding ways to make peace even when you don't agree with someone, even when they are different from you. Has anybody here ever had trouble with somebody being different from them? Has anybody ever had somebody different from them that they disagreed with? I did. What if somebody says, your food looks yucky? We're going to find out about that in this book, okay? So you can look and see the pictures in this book, or you can see the pictures on the screen too, which is pretty lucky. All right, the sandwich swap. The sandwich swap. Oh, look, those two friends are hugging. Who here likes hugs? I like hugs. There we go. This story all began with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Who likes peanut butter and jelly? Yeah? Who here doesn't like peanut butter and jelly? Ooh. Brave. And it ended with a hummus sandwich. Ooh. Selma and Lily were best friends at school. They drew pictures together. Oh, that looks like fun. They played on the swings together. They jumped rope together. Oh my goodness, they do so many things together. And they ate their lunches together. Hey. But just what they ate was a little different. Lily ate a peanut butter and jelly sandwich every day for lunch. And Selma ate a hummus and pita sandwich every day for lunch. And although Lily never said it out loud, she thought Selma's sandwich looked weird and yucky. She felt terrible that her poor friend had to eat that icky chickpea paste every single day. Ew. Yuck. Ew. No, Zach doesn't like that. And although Selma never said it out loud, she thought that Lily's sandwich looked strange and gross. She felt just awful that her poor friend had to eat that gooey peanut paste every day. Ew. Gross. I see some voices of agreement in the audience, yeah. Then one day, Lily just couldn't hold back those pesky thoughts any longer. "Your sandwich looks kind of yucky," she blurted out. Oops. "What did you say?" Selma asked, thinking that she must have misunderstood her friend. "I said your sandwich looks yucky." Selma frowned. She looked down at her bread and she thought of her beautiful smiling mother as she carefully cut Selma's sandwich into 2 neat halves that morning. Her hurt feelings turned mad. Have you ever had feelings that were kind of hurt and then you get really mad about it? Yeah, that happens, I think, to everybody. "Yeah, well, your sandwich looks gross and it smells bad too," Salma snapped back. Uh-oh. Lily looked surprised. She sniffed the thick, squishy bread and she thought of her dad in his silly apron whistling as he cut Lily's sandwich into 2 perfect triangles that morning. Lily scowled. Can you make a mad face? Lily was mad. She scowled. "It does not smell bad." "It does too." "Ew, yuck. Ew, gross." Oh man. That afternoon, they're both mad. You are so right, Zach. They are both mad about what their friend said. Yeah, that hurt their feelings. That afternoon, the friends did not draw pictures together. They did not swing together, and they did not jump rope together either. Why do you think they didn't do those things? Their feelings are hurt, and they're feeling like not friends right now. Yeah. The next day, Selma ate her lunch at one table, and Lily ate her lunch at another. Meanwhile, the peanut butter versus hummus story had spread, and everyone began choosing sides. Each side had something not so nice to say to the other. Peanut butter breath, jelly heads, garlic breath, chickpea brains. Oh no. Pretty soon, the rude insults had nothing at all to do with peanut butter or hummus. You're weird. Well, you're stupid. You look funny. You dress dumb. Oh. And then it happened. Somebody yelled out so loud, "Food fight!" Food fight. Oh no, look at that picture. Peanut butter and hummus sandwiches and other lunch favorites began flying back and forth between the sides of the lunchroom. They stuck to the walls. They stuck to the ceiling. They stuck to the lunch lady. When the sandwiches were all gone, pudding cups and applesauce and carrot sticks took flight. Oh no. Salma and Lily, they were throwing sandwiches. Can you believe it? No. Salma and Lily looked at one another from across the rowdy, splattered room, and they both felt ashamed of what they saw. They both felt really especially ashamed when the principal called them into her office, after they had helped clean up the mess, of course. Look at that principal's face. Can you see that principal's face? Does that principal look happy? No, they both got in trouble. Do you think they are feeling happy with themselves or maybe a little bit small? Small, yeah. The following day, Salma set her lunch down across from Lily's. The 2 girls nibbled on their sandwiches in silence. Finally, Lily got up the courage to speak. Would you like to try a bite of my peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Salma grinned. Sure, why not? Would you like to try some of my hummus and pita? Lily laughed, relieved. I would like that. On the count of 3? Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Mmm, yummy. Hey, this is delicious. Oh, and this is heavenly. The girls giggled and hugged, and they traded their sandwiches for lunch. What did they find out about the other person's sandwich? It was tasty after all. After lunch, Salma and Lily met with the principal again. This time, they were there to suggest a very special event for the whole school. And that is how it all began, with a peanut butter jelly sandwich, and ended with a hummus and pita sandwich. And it doesn't tell us in the words exactly what they did, but if you look at this picture, what do you think the whole school decided to do one day? Sharing food and trading their food. Look at this. They have little flags from where they came from, where those different foods came from. Oh, yep, I see the Italian flag, and there's all kinds of different food that they all get to try. There's the American flag right there. Yeah. And that looks like they all got to try a lot of different foods. The end. Now we're going to sing our kids out to the playground where we're going to have snack and story time. Thank you.
I'm going to forego the reading this morning because of time constraints. So the stewardship testimonial is by?
Well, I'm going to do an introduction first.
Okay.
I'll make it quick.
Yes, sir.
Captain's log, stardate 202603.08. Starfleet Command has issued a Priority 1 alert to all ships in the sector, and our Enterprise has responded. Our 5-week mission? To explore where we're going, chart new directions, and boldly go where no one has gone before. Hi, I'm Jeff Stevens, one of your co-chairs for the Stewardship Committee. Unfortunately, Heather could not be with us here today. She is at home with chicken pox. But she will be back with us soon. She is in med bay and she is recuperating very well and she is hydrating and she'll be back with us very soon. So I'm a 6-foot-tall white male, cisgendered, with gray hair, wearing a red shirt and my Star Trek tie with little tiny Star Trek emblems on it. And I invite you to join us on our trek to the future. Our Stewardship Warp Drive is a time to recommit ourselves to our mission and our prime directive to help heal a broken world. We've set a bold vision for our next voyage, strengthening our hull and shields by committing to our wonderful programs and staff, building a foundation to promote a new captain to minister our congregation, and to support our communities. None of this work is possible without the dedication, empathy, and time of this intrepid crew, the finest Starfleet has to offer. Together, we can build the future and present, an interconnected web that humanity calls for. The moral arc of the universe bends towards justice. Let's warp some physics to make it bend a little sooner. Soon you'll receive your messages from Starfleet Command with your own away missions to renew your pledges for the upcoming year. As you wait, take some time to reflect on this fellowship, this crew, and what they mean to you, what our mission means to you. All we ask is for a tall ship and a star to steer her by. And you are that star, a fire of commitment that makes this all possible. I'm opening hailing frequencies now for one of our long-serving crew members, Norden Lucky, to share what fires her commitment. I invite her to come forward to share some of her stories with us. Live long and prosper.
As he said, my name is Norden Lucky. I've been a member since 2003. I came here originally because I was in a relationship and we broke up and she got the other church and I got this church. But I'm so glad I got this church. I come for various reasons. One is because we are an open and affirming church, and as you all see, I always wear my rainbow shirt every Sunday so I can be proud here where I go. The other is social justice issues. We really deal with social justice issues, and I'm really glad of that. And I also like Children's Hour, watching the children come up and tell the story and tell their things. So it's a haven for me. Like I said, I've been coming since 2003. And we've gone through some difficult times, and we've gone through some great times. And so with that, I'm thankful for that. I can write my check once a month and give it to you all. Anyway, thank you.
Our invitation to generosity words were written by Erica Hewitt. The offering that we take each Sunday isn't just a stale habit. It's an opportunity to recommit to this place and to our people. Our offering is an affirmation, a yes. When we give, we say yes to something we value. With our gifts freely given, may we say yes to the values of our faith. Will the ushers please come forward? Our speaker this morning is Barbara Oberlander. She is a retired professor from Santa Fe College. Okay. She was there for 30 years, and now she contributes to the community her stories about primarily women in history, American history. Great. Barbara, come forward.
March, of course, is Women's History Month. So it is fitting that this morning I talk about the very first woman elected to Congress. You have to take yourself back over 100 years ago when there were no women in Congress. Today there are 155, but we are going to talk about the woman who was not only the first female member of Congress, but a woman of strong principles. Principles so strong that she stayed with them even at great political cost. So here she is, Jeannette Rankin. And next slide, here she is in a phone booth at 60 years old, seeking refuge in a phone booth in the House of Representatives. She was there until the Capitol Police could rescue her and escort her to safety. Why? Because this woman had cast the only no vote against our war with Japan in 1941. Even after the attack on Pearl Harbor, she was a pacifist who was against war in any circumstances, even when there was huge political cost. So who was this extraordinary woman? She was born in 1880 in Missoula, Montana, the eldest of 7. She grew up in really fairly prosperous circumstances. Her father was a successful rancher, developer, builder. Her early years were spent on a ranch. She fixed machinery, she built a wooden sidewalk, and later she would notice that the women around her did everything, same work, but they didn't have a political voice. Her father built the first major house. There she is with her 2 sisters. Her father built a huge house in Montana. It was the first house that had plumbing and electricity. When she graduated from high school, she went off to the University of Montana, and she actually majored in biology. There she is in the biology lab. After she graduated, she worked very briefly as a teacher. She was bored with teaching. She was restless. She tried dressmaking. She tried furniture design. None of it worked for her. And then she visited her brother, Wellington, who was at Harvard in my hometown of Boston, and she saw urban slums for the very first time. So she got a job at a settlement house, a place to help new immigrants adjust to this country. And to improve her skills, she decided to do graduate work. She went to New York and actually was at the school that is now Columbia University School of Social Work. And then she went to Washington State to study finance and public speaking and government. While she was there, she saw an ad asking for volunteers to work in the suffrage campaign in Washington. Women, of course, did not have the vote yet nationally, but it was happening state by state. And she saw the link between suffrage and social reform. There she is, about this time, and there's a map of when different states gave women the right to vote. In 1910, Washington was the 5th state to give women the right to vote. You will notice from that map that all the early states were out west. I won't comment on our own state of Florida. Very late in the game. So she decided she would then go to her home state to work for suffrage. And when she went, she was the first woman to speak before the Montana legislature. And they said, oh my goodness, no swearing, no spitting in the spittoons. We've got a woman coming. They gave her a bunch of violets. She got up there and said, quote, I was born in Montana. It's a beautiful and right that women should nurse her sick children through typhoid, but it's also beautiful and right that she should vote for sanitary measures to prevent that typhoid. So the suffrage bill passed in Montana that year, and she began to work on the national campaign. This is a huge suffrage march that took place in Washington in 1913, just as Woodrow Wilson was being inaugurated. And in 1914, Montana became the 10th state to grant women the right to vote. She then decided to run for political office. There she is in 1916. There were 2 at-large seats in Montana, and she wasn't concerned that no woman had ever been elected to Congress. She believed that women needed this voice to be able to bring about social reforms that were so important for them. And there is her campaign advertisement, Jeannette Rankin, Republican ticket. You can see all the things she stood for. In addition, she was a pacifist, and she was against war. Her brother, Wellington, managed the campaign. There were 3 women who were seeking seats in Congress at that time around the country. And there's Wellington. And she won, 1916. There's her certificate. I know it's hard to read, but it's kind of amazing that she won in 1916. And of course, that created a storm. The first woman coming to Congress. There were all kinds of funny things that happened. She got marriage proposals right away. A toothpaste company wanted a photo of her smile so they could use it for advertising. And the newspaper articles, even the New York Times. Miss Rankin is a very feminine woman. She dances well. She makes her own hats. She sews. And she's won genuine fame with her wonderful lemon meringue pie that she makes when she hasn't other things to keep her busy. So all this excitement, and you can see in some of the slides what happened. These big crowds gathered when she was taking her seat. That's what she looked like. And there she is in front of the Capitol, and again, I mean, this was quite an event, the first woman. Now, very soon after she came to Congress, Woodrow Wilson, of course, asked for a declaration of war against Germany. It was a war that he was reluctant to bring us into. He had promised neutrality, but it became an impossibility because of German actions. And it's interesting, you know, Woodrow Wilson said, he was a political scientist by training, and he said, the Constitution will not survive the war. How right he was, and how that echoes through American history. Every time we go to war, there are constitutional problems, and we can see that all the time. And he was right about that. So she had to cast a vote. And her brother Wellington urged her to save her political career and, quote, vote a man's vote, unquote. At 3 a.m. in the morning, her name was called, and she said, quote, I want to stand by my country, but I cannot vote for war. She wasn't alone, by the way. There were 50 other people who voted against our entry into World War I. It was not unanimous, and the issues were not that clear. And Wellington said to her, you won't be reelected if you do this. And she replied, I'm not interested in that. All I care about is what they will say about me 50 years from now. Never for 1 second could I face the idea that I would send your men to be killed for no other reason than to save my seat in Congress. What a quote. What a quote. So the Montana paper called her a dagger in the hands of the German, and she did it. And you will see her saying, I may be the first woman member of Congress, but I won't be the last. And there she is with all the members of Congress. You've got to look hard to find her. First row in the middle, the one with the hat. And there's Woodrow Wilson asking for the declaration of war. And the New York Times article about her. And this is a reunion of some of the other people who voted against war. So she spent the rest of her time campaigning for national women's suffrage. And these slides show her with Carrie Chapman Catt, who was essentially the one who put together the strategy that finally got women the right to vote. And there she is from the balcony after women won the vote in 1920 with the 19th Amendment. And you can see her. This is a wonderful cartoon about her with a little girl running to Jeannette Rankin. And again with Carrie Chapman Catt. She's the one on the right and reading the suffragist newspaper. Okay. So, she was not reelected. She knew that was going to happen. During this time, Montana politics changed, and the general districts became single-member districts. So from 1920 to 1940, for 20 years, 2 decades, she's out of Congress. And what does she do in these years? She buys a farm in Georgia. This is her in front of the farm. And she works for peace around the world. And there she is at an international Peace Society meeting. You can see her and also Jane Addams, who is very active working for peace. So there's this hiatus in her political career where she's working for peace, and she's then, in 1940, she decides to run for Congress again. And she began by talking in all the high schools in Montana that she could, reestablishing her ties to the region. And at age 60, if you're keeping track, she defeated the incumbent and was elected again. There she is. So she was appointed to various committees on internal affairs and public lands. But of course, what comes up very soon after she is elected, there she is, testifying against military expansion, always testifying against it. And another slide of that. Then in 1941, of course, the Japanese bombing of Pearl Harbor, and Roosevelt asking for a declaration of war against Japan. Now, the situation was very different than World War I because we had been attacked directly. Radio had come into being, and they forgot to turn off the radio transmission of what was happening in the House of Representatives. So in violation of House rules, you could hear what was going on. And what you heard was Jeannette Rankin standing up and trying to get recognition, and the Speaker of the House not recognizing her. Several times she tried to get recognition, and the Speaker said, "Roll call cannot be interrupted by an emotion." In the next slide, you'll see a friend of hers, Everett Dirksen from Illinois, trying to convince her to vote present, but not no. When her name was finally called, she voted no. She voted no. This is the second time now, voting no against war. 388 versus 1. Her vote drew hisses and boos, and she said, quote, "As a woman, I can't go to war, and I refuse to send anyone else." She was asked later if she regretted this, and she said, no. If you're against war, you're against war, regardless of what happens. It's a wrong way of trying to settle a dispute. Jeannette Rankin. So the vote, of course, killed her political career. She later told a friend, "I have nothing left except my integrity." She was denounced by the press, by colleagues, by an angry group of reporters, and there she is in the phone booth. The Washington Post called her a cornered rabbit, unquote. 3 days later, when there was a separate declaration of war against Germany and Italy, she voted present. The cable from her brother, "Montana is 100% against you." She was inundated with angry telegrams, phone calls, hate mail, threats against her life. And of course, her political career was done. John F. Kennedy would later write, "Few members of Congress have ever stood more alone while being true to a higher honor and loyalty. She has the distinction of being the only person in American history to vote against both World War I and World War II." And there's an incredible quote from William Allen White about her courage in doing this. And as he said, probably 100 men in Congress would have liked to have done it, but she was the only one to do it. So, political career is over. What does she do? She continues her peace activism. You can see how isolated she is for the remaining time in Congress. And she went back to her ranch in Montana, and she also began to travel. And one of the favorite places for her to travel to was India. She had great admiration for Gandhi's teachings. Of course, she called him one of the greatest philosophers of our time. And she spent many times there. But she wasn't finished. Maybe some of you will recognize this photo, because during the Vietnam War, there was a Jeannette Rankin brigade to protest the war. And here is a photo of it in 1968. She is in front there, leading the brigade. There were over 5,000 women who participated in this. It was one of the largest marches up to that time. And she led them from Union Station to the Capitol, where she presented a peace petition. There, they called themselves the Jeannette Rankin Brigade in honor of her. And there they are. There she is, presenting a peace petition. She called the war a ruthless slaughter. And the Jeannette Rankin Brigade kept up its opposition for a very long time. She considered briefly making a third congressional run in 1972, but she would die in that year. They're the last photographs of her. Of course, there is a statue of her in Washington in the U.S. Capitol Statuary Hall, where every state has 2 statues. And there have been plays about her. There have been books about her. You will see. And I was amused by this. This is a brewing company that has put an ad about her on their wall. And books, America's Conscience, perfect title for her. And we also see, go ahead, her statement about wars, and a quote. If I had my life to live over, I would do it all again, but this time I would be nastier. So what can we say about Jeannette Rankin? She's certainly unique, not only among women, but among elected officials in general. I stand here before you today in awe of a woman who put principles and moral integrity over her political future. Where are those politicians today? So she is controversial. She's remembered for her pacifism, but as she said, she wanted to be remembered mostly as the only woman who could vote for women getting the right to vote. Think about it. She was in Congress when the 19th Amendment was passed, so she's the only woman who could actually cast a vote for that. She is a visionary pragmatist who went her own obstinate way, and I think she deserves admiration and she deserves respect, particularly in this time of war. We see how many of Jeannette Rankin's views ring so true. Thank you so much for listening. Okay.
Thank you, Jeannette. You're not Jeannette, you're Barbara. Hopefully that stirs us up for goodness. We're scheduled to sing We Laugh, We Cry. It's my most favorite song in the hymnal, but we're running long, so I will sacrifice for y'all. How's that?
Sue will be extinguishing the chalice. As Sue extinguishes the chalice, please join together in the chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Closing words were written by Edward Everett Hale. I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. The service has concluded, but we have a special treat. Troy Brett's paintings are on display in the back of the sanctuary. If you'd like to ask her questions about her art, she'd love to talk to you. Please gather for coffee and conversation in the social hall, out the doors and to the left.